So there's a couple of these headlines I've seen out there. Colorado, 3 hit, 1 killed while standing outside disabled vehicle on Colorado Interstate. 1 person died and 2 others are seriously injured on Sunday evening after an eastbound vehicle crashed into a disabled car. Interstate 270 in Commerce City, Colorado. The accident happened at the 3100 block of I-270. The 3 victims were reportedly pulled over in the shoulder of the interstate awaiting assistance and standing outside the car when they were hit. According to Commerce City Police, all 3 victims were transported to a nearby hospital where 1 was pronounced dead. It's unknown if alcohol or weather-related road conditions it was a factor. The Commerce City Police Department don't seem to know jack shit. The interstate was closed in the eastbound direction at York Street for several hours on Sunday night while teams investigated the crash. This is the first fatal accident investigated by the department this year. Now that's some fucked up shit. That's a hit and run. That's a murder and run. They ran over 3 people. They know they ran over somebody. And they have a damaged car that you only got, 48 hours to find out. And you don't have anything, right? You don't have any video. You don't have, what did they see? What did they, observe? Tuesday night crash leaves 10 elk dead. There's a major car pile up on the interstate. I think people had to stay on the interstate all night somewhere in Colorado. But this is some bullshit. In the state of Colorado, a crime of violence is an enhancement charge. So if I come up to you and I punch you in the mouth, right, that's a crime of violence. So not only is it an assault charge, but also a crime of violence. Well, hell, that's like 10 years right there. Now, if you, shoot a gun, punch a person, robbery, right, there's a whole list of things. But vehicular homicide, Rohel, that Cuban immigrant, was going to get a 110-year, a life sentence, right? But he wasn't getting it for the vehicular homicide. He wasn't getting it for the people that he killed. He was getting it for the assault charge combined with the crime of violence charge. And so that's fucking bullshit. You just had goddamn vehicular homicide. A motherfucker just ran 3 people over. And then they took off. They ran away. So it's an accident. But apparently, I guess, vehicular, is that 50 years? They're going to get 50 years in jail? Right? That's vehicular homicide. I just think it's incredible that it's not a crime of violence. This thing that just sent 3 people to the hospital, killed 1 person, that's not a crime of violence. That crime of violence, that very bloody, disgusting, despicable crime of violence, that's not a crime of violence, huh? Sure seems like a crime of violence to me. But, legal definitions and, Merriam-Webster definitions, Merriam-Webster, they are 2 different, So here's just a couple articles that I pulled up. We don't know the person's name. We don't know who was injured. That story told us nothing. But there's a murder on the loose who just ran over somebody, and now they're, doing God knows, running over more people. December 27th, so there's, a lot of snowy and bad conditions. December 27th, 2021, police are asking for the public for help in identifying the motorist who struck a pedestrian Sunday evening in northern Aurora, killing the man and then driving on. Another hit and run. That's another murder. 19,000 block of East Montview Boulevard at about 6 p.m. Sunday after a man was reported lying in the road. Rescuers discovered a 28-year-old man been struck by a car, critically hurt, rushed to a hospital, died. The man was struck near Cathay Street east of Tower Road in a residential area. An initial investigation revealed that the man was hit by a gray-colored car, but no other details were released. The suspect vehicle should have damage to the driver's side front of the vehicle and side view mirror. Police said in a statement, investigators will continue working on identifying the vehicle and the driver involved in the crash. So they don't know shit. And they're not even telling us who the 28-year-old man is. I got a 28-year-old. Is it my son? You're not going to tell me? The man's identity will be released later by the Adams County Coroner Office, which is standard police procedure. Yeah, sure. Anyone in your bra. Anyone with information is asked to contact Metro Denver Crime Stoppers at 720-913-7867. Tipsters remain anonymous and still be eligible for a $2,000 reward. So there's, a hit and run in Aurora, hit and run on I-270. Here's a Colorado Springs, a serious crash involving a pedestrian. This is 17 hours ago. So this just happened yesterday. Monday evening, Colorado Springs. According to the Colorado Springs Police, the call came in at about 3:45 p.m. near Montebello Drive and North Academy Boulevard. The intersection is on the northeast side of the city. A portion of Montebello Drive was closed for several hours. Investigators believe the crash happened as the vehicle was turned out of a business onto Montebello Drive. Police don't believe speed or alcohol were factors in the crash. Who got ran over? Who killed somebody? We don't know any of that shit. I mean, we're just the police. You expect too much out of us. Denver Post has something here. Keep reading. $22 for the whole year? I don't think so. That's too much. So, let's see. Pedestrian run over in the parking lot identified. So that's something right there, right? The Gazette.com. El Paso. I think it's Colorado Springs, ain't it? El Paso coroner's office identified a man ran over Colorado Springs parking lot. 62-year-old Edward Kozak. So there's another hit and run murder, right? Edward Kozak, 62-year-old, Colorado Springs. Let's see. Responded to a crash, 3500 block of Austin Bluffs. There was a crash. Maybe it was okay. So. Parkway, September 11th, after a pickup truck turned into a business parking lot and hit Kozak. Police say Kozak was lying in the parking lot. Emergency crews transported Kozak to the hospital. He died several days later in the hospital. 2 drivers killed in a crash outside Calhan. Pedestrian killed in crash near downtown Colorado Springs. Man dies after being run over at construction site. El Paso County Sheriff's Office says the death does not appear to be suspicious. He's ran over and killed. That row hell gets goddamn 110 years. How come? I mean, the consistency. There's no damn consistency with Colorado laws. So, 911 caller reported a worker at a commercial construction site had been run over by a vehicle. Deputies, members of the security fire department arrived. The sheriff's office said they found an unresponsive man with serious injuries to his head, pronounced dead at the scene. OSHA was notified. So, yeah, I mean, to assume that an automobile is not deadly is insane. Of course, an automobile is a deadly weapon. It's always been a deadly weapon. It can be used. So to meet the definition of deadly, it's being used as a deadly weapon. Okay, you didn't mean to, but that's negligent. That's negligent homicide. Vehicular homicide, that's not a crime of violence. What about negligent homicide? Is negligent homicide a crime of violence? Because, we know that it was an accident, and we know it's not, you didn't intentionally do it, but something did happen, and there needs to be some kind of, I would rather just, give me $50,000. I got to, bury my damn, that would help. $50,000 is better than throwing you in the pen or whatever. Unless you're just a terrible person and it's clear that, you have no remorse and you're going to, run over another person, do it again. But this is crazy. People are getting ran over left and right in Colorado. Come on, Colorado, let's drive a little better. There's snow on the road. No reason to get all cocky and crazy. You stay on the right-hand side, maintain a decent speed, and, stay cautious. Just pull off to the side of the road and stop. Wait for conditions to pass. Make sure you have an extra thing of gas in you and chain and... Come on, Colorado.